Okay, so this is the video, or this is the question that you should have seen in your Canvas. If you haven't done it yet, you should pause the video, do it right now, and do this one on your own before we check it out here. But let's go ahead and do it. We're going to check to see if this point 5, 2 is a solution to this system of equations. So we're going to take each equation, and we're going to replace the x and the y with the values in the point. So here we have 2 times 5 minus 3 times 2 equals 4. That's 10 minus 6 equals 4, which is 4 equals 4. And that checks out. That is true. So that's a good start. We need to now check if this one works. So we're going to say 2 times 3 plus 8 times 2 equals 11. So that's 6 plus 16 equals 11, which is 22 equals 11. This is false. 22 and 11 are not the same number. Hopefully you recognize that. But what that means is that the point 5, 2 is not a solution because it was not true. It was not a true statement for both equations. So in order for it to be a solution, it has to mark true for both of the equations. It's not true for both equations. There we go. I had to get those last two words down. All right. If you got questions on that, make sure you can leave them in the comments or come and contact me. But let's go ahead and move on to our next example. So we're going to use the graph and check method. So we're going to graph each line in the linear system and find the solution to the system. In other words, we're going to graph them both and find the intersection. Graph both, find the intersection. So we've got two lines in standard form. Let's go ahead and draw my coordinate plane over here. That's kind of nice. So let's go ahead. Let's do it two different ways, just so we can remember our methods for graphing these. Let's turn this one into slope-intercept form. I'm going to add x to both sides, and I'm going to get y equals x minus 7. So there's my first equation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's my first point right there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is up 1 over 1 because that's my slope. My slope is up 1 over 1. So there's one line. And I'm trying my best here to be accurate. Hand-drawn graphs are never very good. That's the biggest weakness of this type of equation. I also have terrible handwriting, so that doesn't help. Let's go ahead and do this other one. Let's do this other one by finding the x and y-intercepts. Remember, we can make a table. Plug in 0 for x, gives me 0 plus 4y equals negative 8. So y equals negative 2. And then if I do that same thing, but plug it in for y, I get x plus 4 times 0 equals negative 8, which is x equals negative 8. So my other line has a y-intercept of negative, or x-intercept of negative 8, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's there. And a y-intercept of negative 2, it's there. And then we're going to very carefully stop doing it. Stop that. We're going to very carefully draw this line. It's not going to be super accurate. I'm going to do my absolute best to make sure that I get it there. But it kind of looks like it crosses right there, which I'm thinking that that's the point 3, negative 3. So that's what we're looking at, right? We've got the point 3, negative 3 there. And actually looking at my notes, we can see inaccuracy in action because these are wider. We're going to call that one. So this is actually 4, negative 3. and I totally did not just cheat and look at the answer to make sure that I got that right. I wouldn't do something like that because I'm a professional, right? And anybody who knows me probably knows that I'm lying right now. So that is actually supposed to be a 4, negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 3. That's where it crosses. Let's check though, right? Let's check to make sure that that is in fact the solution. So this is where it crosses at 4, negative 3. So let's plug that into both of my equations here to make sure that that works. So that's plus negative 4 plus negative 3 equals negative 7. So that's negative 7 equals negative 7. That one checks out. And then for the other equation, x plus 4y equals negative 8, that's going to be 4 plus 4 times negative 3 equals negative 8. That's 4 minus 12 equals negative 8, which is negative 8 equals negative 8. So it checks out. So in order to find the intersection point, we're going to graph both of the lines, and then we're going to estimate that point where it crosses. And you guys witnessed the biggest weakness of this method in that it is very inaccurate. We have the human problem of making inaccurate graphs. Even with a ruler and everything, it can still be very difficult to find the correct spot, especially when the answer is a decimal. Okay, so this is our first step into it, just to make sure we understand that the intersection is the solution. We have more exact methods later. I do have one that I'd like you guys to do on your own. So go ahead and the video is going to end here. You're going to want to go back to your Canvas lesson and check that out. Otherwise, you can check out the beginning of the next video in the series to see the solution. So we'll see you in just a second.